bring the bouncy castle, please. I'm begging you. If you bring that bouncy castle to Animecon London, I will give you a 10 out of 10 rating. There, I said it. I said it. Hi besties, it's me, your girl, your friendly neighbourhood otaku, Scarrlet Uzumaki. I am back with another video. First things first, besties, I just want to say thank you so much for coming back to the Bestie-verse once again. And also, if you're new here, hello besties. Everyone, regardless of if you're new or returning, you need a head pat. So besties, I have just come back from Animecon UK and I wanted to talk to you all about my time there and give a little bit of a review, because that is something I have not done in a while on this channel, mostly because I haven't been going to any new conventions. I've only been going to conventions I have been to previously, because I have frequented these conventions numerous times and I would not want my reviews to be biased in any way. So let's talk a little bit about Animecon itself. So Animecon UK was a convention started in 2023, so it is a relatively new convention when it comes to the UK convention scene, and it is started by Oakham Group Limited. Now I'm not sure if they have run any other conventions, whether it's UK or abroad, but I know that they do run Animecon. So Animecon first started in Birmingham and now they have locations in Dublin, and more recently have just announced one in London, which will be happening in October. So like most conventions in the UK that are not local cons, Animecon is a 3-day convention. So this means it has 3 days of fun spanning from Friday to Sunday. I only went for 2 days myself, Friday and Saturday, only because I knew I would spend lots of money on merchandise at Animecon. So I decided I'm just gonna go for 2 days, limit myself and save the coin. I also want to disclose that I was able to get a creators pass for Animecon. This is a complimentary guest pass for people who are in creator spaces, and despite this, it's not going to influence my own opinions on the convention. Like, they don't have me by the neck, they don't have their foot on my throat. My opinions are my own. Okay, so let's talk about the location of Animecon. Animecon was held in NEC Birmingham, so this is the National Exhibition Centre. Are you familiar with the centre? Amazing. If you're not, this is the centre that tends to host conventions that are held in Birmingham. It is a very lovely venue, very large, wide open spaces, and it's also a lake area. So the convention itself was held in Hall S of the NEC, and this is only like one hall, I believe, of the entire centre, so it meant that the convention was quite cosy. However, despite this, there was still a lot of space to move. So on the Friday especially, it was quite empty in there, and I could spread out my arms and walk down the halls of the Artist Alley and not bump into anybody. However, on Saturday, that space did become an issue as it became really packed out. People were bumping into each other as they usually do at conventions. So I'm not sure if maybe if Animecon is held there next year, they'll expand into another hall or move locations. I believe it was held in Hall S this year because there were some other conventions happening at the same time. So there was also a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, a Peppa Pig convention, and also a flower show. Maybe next year, if they're able to get more money and funding, then they can perhaps negotiate more hall space. But this time it was quite compacted, especially on the busier days, because in my experience, Saturday is always the day you get the most foot traffic at any convention, mostly because most people, they work Monday to Friday, they have children, so they are working on a Friday, but Saturday and Sunday, they are free to go to your con. So now I want to talk a little bit about the con features. What did I enjoy most about the con? So one thing I liked was that they had a variety of like workshops and panels that you could attend, and these are included in your ticket, so you didn't have to pay any extra for them. So on the Friday of the convention, Animates, they were doing a Japanese bookbinding workshop, which I did partake in, and it was really nice. And they also were doing some other workshops there, so we had an anime debate, and they also had some bracelet making, which unfortunately I did not go to because I went to the Maid Cafe, which was also there, and spent a lot longer than I intended. Alongside this, you also had some really good panels. So panels are usually ran by either fans of the event or they are celebrity guests. When I say fans, I mean people like you or me, so people who just like cosplaying and nerd culture as a whole, which was really nice. And also I really enjoyed were the Con Creatives podcast, and also by Cerise Green Cosplays, who had a really interesting panel about cosplaying colour, so being a person of colour and cosplaying, and giving a bit of insight into what it's like to be a cosplayer when you are this beautiful shade. I quite enjoyed the panels. I thought they were really interesting, really informative, and there was a really good variety of people who were speaking, which I thought was really nice. So other notable features that I enjoyed of Animecon was the silent disco and the funhouse. So the silent disco was this large tent area where they were playing music. You would give us some headphones and you could jam out to some lovely tunes. And what I liked was that these tunes were set in categories. So there was some lo-fi for anime openings, there was some general anime songs, there was also musicals, and I had a lovely time there. Probably too lovely because I started headbanging and my wig started slipping backwards, and because I couldn't see what I was doing, I was like struggling to put it back on. But the woman who was kind of like heading the silent disco area, she helped me put my wig back on. That was great. Girlies supporting girlies. We love it. Now the funhouse. The funhouse I also enjoyed. It was a really, really large bouncy castle funhouse, and it used to be a fun house, and now it's full of evil clowns. And you could bounce there for a maximum of 5 minutes because, you know, everyone needs a turn, and they were both free, which I thought was absolutely amazing. One thing that was very peculiar to me was that hardly anybody was on the funhouse. I believe because people thought it was only for children, so they were scared to go on. So I just ran on both days. Friday, Saturday, I was running back and forth on the funhouse. I also had too much fun in the funhouse because I was jumping up and down trying to do seat drops, practicing my trampolining club skills from high school. And then I ripped my pass in half by doing that, so I had to go and get another pass. And wait, how could I forget there was a steward for Animecon handing out free ramen packets? I'm not sure what was happening there, but there was just like a table and he had boxes of ramen and they were just handing them out to people, and he just gave me like 10 packets of ramen and I stuffed it into my bag. My handbag, that little handbag over there, couldn't fit much in it, but I had 10 packets of ramen and I was walking around like this with a bag of ramen in my hand. You probably thought I was weird, but of course I'm gonna take some free ramen. I think there was a really good variety of activities you could get yourself stuck into at Animecon for free, because I had been to some conventions in the past and they had things like silent discos and they had things like fun houses, but the silent discos, they were part of an after party you had to pay for, and the fun house or bouncy castle area was strictly for children, so adults couldn't go on it. So I like how this was for everyone. And it's kind of funny because I asked the lady who was like in charge of overseeing it, I was like, hey, is only for children? And she's like, nah, adults too. I was like, bet, I'm on there. So now I want to talk about I guess the artist alley and the dealers of it all, because how can I talk about conventions and not talk about all the money I'm spending and where I'm spending it? So the dealer stores, you know, it's your generic dealer stores. You're gonna have your figures, you're gonna have surprise bags, you're gonna have your donuts, things like that. And I was quite surprised that this area was quite small in comparison to the artist alley, which I was loving. I love that because I have been to other conventions in the past and the artist alley is very small, but the dealer side is very large. And what tends to happen is that dealers tend to have very similar merchandise. Now the artist alley, I was so happy that it was a large area. There was so much to see, and I don't think I even saw all of it in the 2 days I was there. But it was amazing. There was a variety of merchandise representing a variety of fandoms, which I was praising the Lord for. You don't know how tired I am of seeing Helloverse merch on every single artist alley table. We don't need any more. We understand that you love it. I love it too, but I don't only want to see Helloverse characters. I want to see other things, okay? Of course, I understand that if as an artist, you're only going to create art for whatever is popular at the time. And some animes and some fandoms aren't very popular right now because they're old, whereas some are very hella popular. You see what I did there? So I was very happy to see a variety of merchandise representing a variety of fandoms. And of course, the artists were able to do stamp rallies, which helped to further encapsulate the love that these Congos have for certain fandoms. I know for me that I took part in the Miku stamp rally and also the My Little Pony stamp rally, because why not? So I absolutely love the variety of artists that we had in the artist alley, and they all had different types of merch, which I was absolutely loving. I do think more conventions need to invest more in the artist alleys. I understand from a business perspective why a con would prefer a dealer over an artist, because dealers tend to have stock that kind of has more weight to it, whereas an artist may have different types of niches. But I think as a con goer, artists are a whole lot better than dealers. There, I said it. I want to buy little things that look like this. I want to buy little things that look like this. I love a figure, but how often can you get a duck that is dressed like Luffy? Hardly ever. And will that duck also be able to clip in your hair? So as you can probably tell, besties, I had an amazing time at Animecon, and I really did enjoy myself there. I was very thankful to be able to get a creator's pass, as it did come with the perk of being able to go to this creator after party on Friday, known as the Sakura Ball. And that was a nice way to kind of talk to other people who were there as creators, and also to make new friends in these sort of spaces. I really enjoyed my time there. It was organised really well, and it also had candy floss. So Bex, who is in charge of the creator cosplay side of Animecon, did a phenomenal job. I do think that Animecon did a really good job in trying to make sure that you got what you paid for. And by this, I mean that if you got like a VIP ticket, you were given a swag bag, and in this swag bag, you were given a few goodies. I didn't get a swag bag because I did not purchase a VIP ticket, but I heard you got a Bluetooth speaker in there. So if anyone's got a VIP swag bag, tell me, is that true? Because if so, amazing, amazing, amazing. So I'm not sure if I could give any improvements to Animecon. I think it was an amazing convention. Security is very vigilant. The stewards were very attentive. They had a lot of free stuff you can get your hands into. Lots of photo backdrop opportunities that were dotted around in quieter areas so you could actually get to them. And it had a lot of things to do there. So you were never bored, which I thought was really great. So you could go to this convention completely by yourself and you would not feel completely alone. So if I could rate this convention, what would I rate it? I don't even have a rating system. I would give it a 9.5 out of 10. Why 9.5 and not 10? Because in the words of Hannah Montana, nobody's perfect, you just gotta work it. The only improvement I would give to Animecon is not an improvement. It's gonna be, when you come to London, bring back the bouncy castle, okay? Because I will be there. I will be there. Please, 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 bring the bouncy castle, please. I'm begging you. If you bring that bouncy castle to Animecon London, I will give you a 10 out of 10 rating. There, I said it. I said it. So besties, here's a roundup of what I enjoy most at Animecon. So first, the space, activities, then photo opportunities, steward helpfulness, security, and of course, the bouncy castle. Now, all these features made me enjoy Animecon Birmingham very much, and I would recommend it to anybody, especially those new to the convention scene. Okay, besties, that's all I have time for today. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you managed to stick around to the end, thank you. Clock it, clock it, clock it, lock it, polka dot it. And besties, make sure you stay tuned for next time where things will be happening. I can't tell you what things are happening, but things will be happening. Alright besties, bye-bye. Bye. Clock it, lock it, polka dot it, cunty fight and hip hop it.